She's a goofy person. I think a lot of people don't really know her outside of basketball. Outside of basketball, she's funny. Like, she has so much personality. I think that's what people need to know about her. Like, her personality goes a long way, and she's a great person. And I think that goes, like, she helps me through every little thing. Like, I could ask a question.
In sports, there are tales that start in the worst possible locations. Online mockery and public humiliation. A moment so agonizing that the person experiencing it truly considers abandoning everything they have worked so hard to create. Then there are tales that take at that precise moment, completely transform it, and make it into one of the most exquisite things you have seen in a very long time. Raven Johnson has experienced each of those stories, so we are going to discuss both of them simultaneously. And the lady in charge of that story's second half is the same one who, unintentionally, was at the center of the first. Caitlin Clark is that woman.
Bro, the Fever really selected Raven Johnson as the number 10 pick to come play with Clark. Do y'all remember this? Clark waving her off in college, and then she recently was talking in an interview about it again, about how she got waved off, and now they gonna be playing together.
You must comprehend the beginning of this story in order to comprehend its progression. 2023 is the year. The NCAA Women's Basketball Final Four is the venue. South Carolina versus Iowa. In college basketball, Caitlin Clark is already the most talked about player. The top scorer, the highlight reel, and the name that everyone is talking about. And during that game, in a split second that the cameras captured and the internet magnified into something massive, Clark made a choice that was only strategic. At the three-point line, Johnson was free. Running her offense, Clark decided not to guard Johnson out there after reading that she posed little threat from deep.
It was just a basketball choice.
However, it was not viewed as a basketball decision on the internet.
No, we haven't. I think that's in the past. We're teammates now, and we have one goal. That's to win a championship. And I'm coming in. I want to win the championship too, and I'm pretty sure that's her main goal too. So whatever I can do to help win a championship, that's the goal right now.
Johnson was inundated. The bullying that followed that moment, the remarks, the derision, the internet pile-on from individuals who had nothing better to do than knock down a young woman who had done nothing. Wrong was unrelenting. Johnson, who was 20 years old at the time and carried all the burdens associated with being a young black woman in the spotlight, has subsequently been candid about how gloomy that time really become. She thought about giving up basketball completely, not pausing. The harshness of strangers reacting to a moment that lasted less than 5 seconds caused her to walk away from the game she had dedicated her entire life to, refusing to take a season off. That's what took place. And before proceeding, it is crucial to sit with it.
And I hate the internet now because of that situation. Like, I got bashed, I got bullied, I got called all these things that I wasn't, aka like a monkey or this, I don't know, like it was just things like that. And I just think I wanted to quit basketball at that time. And I wanted to just go in this little bubble of isolation and just be by myself. And I think, I leaned on God. I had some wonderful teammates, wonderful people in my life, like I said, and they helped me find that light, and it put so much fuel to the fire to me to go back the next year, and we were undefeated and met that team again, and we beat them. So I think it was.
However, this is the portion of the narrative that people are only now starting to really get. Raven Johnson stayed put. She remained. She returned to South Carolina, the court, and coach Dawn Staley, and she decided to turn that experience into motivation rather than an excuse to give up. South Carolina defeated Clark's Iowa Hawkeyes in the Final Four to win the national championship in 2024. Johnson played a crucial role in that run. Additionally, after she finished on the grandest stage in collegiate basketball, she accomplished this after overcoming her lowest point in her career. Resilience is the term for that. It is actually considerably longer, takes years to construct, and is impossible to replicate.
Fever beat New York 109-91. I don't care about any of that. What I care about is people putting respect on Raven Johnson's name. First game, WNBA debut, 6 points, 8 assists, 3 rebounds, 1 steal, 2 blocks, no turnovers, you guys. None. I've been talking about Raven Johnson being underrated for far too long. Cut to the clip. Those of us that have been following the Gamecocks for longer than a couple of years know Raven Johnson is literally her. It is unfortunate that sometimes she does not get the respect that she deserves. I don't know what you guys thought was about to happen, but this is Raven Johnson, 18 minutes off the bench. first preseason WNBA game. She just got done playing college basketball, you guys. It's only April.
One of the most NBA-ready athletes in the entire 2026 draft class, she emerged from college as a two-time national champion, according to observers. Raven Johnson was chosen by the Indiana Fever with the 10th overall choice in the NBA draft on April 14, 2026. In case you didn't get the full impact of that moment, Caitlin Clark's Indiana Fever squad selected the lady Clark had once waved off on the largest college platform. The same jersey, the same locker room, and the same basketball squad. Someone would have told you it was too obvious if you had written this for a film.
Indiana selects Raven Johnson, South Carolina. Raven Johnson, South Carolina.
Now, the obvious question that all reporters of this story asked right away was straightforward. In reality, how does it feel? Not in the manner of a press conference response, but in the true sense. What is it like for Raven Johnson and Caitlin Clark to enter the same building each day? How does it feel to collaborate on a game plan, a practice court, or a huddle with someone who unintentionally played a major role in one of the most traumatic periods of your life? Johnson gave a direct response to the query. She didn't pretend it was easy or dance around it. She claimed to have moved on from the past. She claimed that winning a championship was her primary concern as soon as she put on an Indiana Fever uniform, and Clark had been saying the same thing from the first day of training camp.
And I think that goes, like, she helps me through every little thing. Like, I could ask a question and she has an answer for it. So I think that's, like, just playing with somebody like her, it means a lot to me. But she also has that sense of humor where she makes me laugh too. And I'm like, Caitlin, where did that come from? So it's like little things like that. But I'm also funny too, so I think that's where we kind of match together and we vibe with each other like that. So I love being here with her.
However, Johnson's statements after that first press conference go much beyond a tactful response to putting aside a rivalry. She has been open and honest about Caitlin Clark's daily behavior as a teammate. As a person who is genuinely present and genuinely invested in the people around her, rather than as a superstar, icon, or the most commercially significant player in women's basketball at the moment. Johnson disclosed that Clark supported her through all of the challenging times as she transitioned to the working world, guiding her through the mental adjustments, tempo, tactical changes, and differences that every rookie encounters when they transition from college to the WNBA. Johnson claimed that during a single training day, she asked Clark almost 1,000 questions, and Clark responded to each and every one of them. Since Caitlin Clark is not required to do that, it is worthwhile to consider that particular element. At the height of professional basketball, NBA players wear her sneakers and her name appears on jerseys that are flying off the shelves. She is the face of the Fever, the franchise player. She has every right in the world to spend her time and effort being safeguarded. Instead, she is sitting next to a rookie who used to stand across from her during a rivalry game, answering endless questions about how to prosper in a league that doesn't tolerate unprepared rookies. A superstar doesn't do that. That's what a leader does. Additionally, Raven Johnson has spoken up about Caitlin Clark's true nature behind the basketball, which brings us to the personality aspect of the situation. Additionally, many people who just follow her share what she said. I honestly don't know how Clark threw highlights and box scores. Clark was regarded by Johnson as loving. She referred to her as silly. She claimed that individuals who have only ever seen Clark compete are surprised by how humorous she is. She claimed that most people are unaware of Clark's enormous personality, which fills a room in ways unrelated to basketball. That particular iteration of her, the one making jokes in the locker room, the one that makes goofy faces in group shots, the one that chases new members of the group around the gym to make them giggle. When the Indiana Fever posted a number of pictures of Clark and Johnson during training camp on their own social media, we got a peek of just that. In a fun chase, Clark seemed to run away from Johnson. Another picture has Johnson giving Clark a hug while Clark makes an overly silly face. This was not staged as part of a marketing campaign. These two individuals resolved to create something truly warm out of their complicated past after finding each other on the other side. That kind of synergy is impossible to replicate. It either doesn't exist or it does. And those images demonstrated what Raven Johnson has been stating in all subsequent interviews. It is real. Let's now discuss the true implications of this for Raven Johnson's career. It is impossible to overestimate the practical value of being Caitlin Clark's teammate and having her actively involved in your development, even beyond the friendship, the locker room dynamic, the personality, the silly times, and the 1,000 questions addressed. Johnson entered the league at a time when the Fever were developing into a respectable squad. They have a group that has been purposefully put together around a core that is anticipated to contend at the top level, and they have a real championship window. There is hardly much room for error. Johnson is now working in the same atmosphere every day because of the standards Clark puts in the facility, the habits, the preparation, and the refusal to accept anything less than the best version of every practice session.
If somebody I support was hanging with somebody that I hated the most, even though she's the reason why any of us are watching the WNBA like we're watching it, yeah, Caitlin the reason for all this. Yeah, all you Caitlin haters, I know y'all mad. Yeah, see, y'all be getting mad when I say Caitlin the GOAT, but Raven just said it. So are all you South Carolina Gamecock fans, all you big Raven Johnson fans, are y'all gonna be mad at her too? Yeah, do you see how nice and lovely and how good the connection between Raven and Caitlin and Raven and Sophie is? I know y'all hate that. And it's fine. Cause y'all be trying to gas like, oh, Raven's gonna come and take over the team. No, it don't work over here, no.
In her preseason WNBA debut against the New York Liberty, Johnson played 17 minutes and recorded 8 assists, 3 made baskets, and 2 blocks. That is a really encouraging start for a rookie playing against one of the top clubs in the league for the first time. And when she filled in to support Clark against the Dallas Wings, in which Clark scored 21 points in 16 minutes before Johnson was given the ball. Johnson answered with 3 points and 5 assists in 21 minutes while handling duties for the rest of the game. The pressure did not make her shrink. When the moment became significant, she did not vanish. She performed as though the surroundings, the coaching staff, and a teammate who has been supporting her since the first day of camp had prepared her.
Do you think to just competitive spirit? Like, you both want to win a championship, have played a lot of big games, played against each other, trying to win big games. So, like, what is it like, and how quickly did you kind of like marry those two ideas of like, all right, we're teammates now, it's time to go try to win here?
Yeah, I put the past in the past. Honestly, when I put the Indiana Fever jersey on, I said let's try to win the championship together. And I think, you know, with her, that's all she talks about is winning, pro habits, and like the little margin for room are ever very small when it comes to like the finals games. She talks a lot about that. So I just be telling her like I want to do whatever it takes to win. Like I want to win the championship, and that's really the big goal for me and my teammates.
In one version of this story, every practice, game, and shared sideline moment is filtered through the prism of that 2023 Final Four moment, turning it into a rivalry narrative that the media can neatly package and fans can debate online. Although it is simple to write, that version of the narrative is not accurate. That is not as intriguing, complex, or human as the real one. It tells the tale of two top athletes who are positioned on opposing sides of a very trying time, who, despite being given every chance by public opinion to maintain that tension indefinitely, decided to put each other's needs first and determined that the thing they both desired above all else was more valuable than the thing that had previously caused them to part ways. Johnson put the past behind her, as she herself stated. Additionally, Clark, who has stated that her primary motivation is to win and compete at the top level, welcomed a beginner into her circle, responded to her inquiries, taught her the ropes, made her laugh, made her feel at home, and demonstrated daily that we support one another on our team. We strengthen one another. Nobody is left behind to sort out by themselves.
I'm not gonna hold y'all. Amber Cox might have cooked with this draft pick. When I say so many narratives are ending with every clip we see from this preseason game, every clip we see from training camp, the Fever's PR in the locker room is up 1,000%. And it's so funny because literally Aaliyah Boston said on her podcast last week, it's all the fans. All of the narratives and the crazy beef, it's not the players. The players literally have no beef. I bet a lot of the times the players are looking at stuff that fans are saying and in the locker room laughing at y'all.
What Raven Johnson has gone through, public humiliation, cruelty on the internet, a dark time when she truly considered quitting basketball, and what she has come to, playing with the same person wearing the same jersey, creating something genuine and warm that is already yielding results on the court, is a tale that transcends the WNBA. That is a tale of what occurs when you don't allow your worst professional experience to define who you are. It tells the tale of what happens when an elite athlete chooses to use their position to improve the lives of those around them in addition to winning games. Raven Johnson had hardly ever played in this league before, and Caitlin Clark is the one who supports her daily.